Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about how we budget as a family. So hopefully you'll find this interesting. So please make sure you stay tuned in. So first of all, I'd like to talk to you about how we started crunching the numbers. I think that's actually the first important thing. I remember kind of sitting down and looking at our outgoings and incomes as well, and make sure that it was all written down separately. Please just excuse the cat, obviously has to get involved. Ella is behind the camera per usual. And also just a quick disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor. This is what we've been doing as a family and it works very well for us. So please make sure that you seek financial advice from a professional. So the first thing I said about crunching the numbers, so just sit down and have a look. Crunching the numbers, I find it absolutely hilarious, but you know what I mean. So the incomes and outgoings, and what you might have heard, it's important to have an emergency fund if you can. The emergency fund is apparently 6 months worth of your bills, your total bills. So in case something happens, then you would have 6 months to cover your bills. Just start it slow. Just start it as a slow amount if you can. Even putting aside £10 or £20 a month, it will go a long way. And what we tend to also have as a family, we would have different saving pots. So we would have a pot for like traveling, because we do like travel, obviously we go abroad, and also we like a little weekend trip away, or even just a little day trip away. And even if you just put like £10-20 aside every month, it kind of builds it up a little bit. So apart from the emergency fund, I think it's a good idea to have different pots as well. And obviously when it comes to even saving rates or investment, just make sure that you get the best rates and the best buys, and make sure that you do your own due diligence. So make sure you do have your research. The thing is that be consistent with the savings. I know it's very easy kind of to get a little bit carried away and think, oh, actually we've got a little bit of money aside, and we don't have to carry on saving. But as I said, a little bit would go a long way. So even if it's just a few pounds a month, but at least if something happens, then you're kind of protected. And I think when it comes to finances, it's very important to talk to your partner about it. Talk with my husband on a regular basis about our finances. We are very transparent about it. There are no secrets, no hiding. And we even talk about money with Ella. I think it's very important that she knows the value of money. She knows that money doesn't grow on trees. Money. Obviously, ever since she was little, she used to do chores. We were paying her. And now, as you know, whenever she helps me out, I pay her a little bit. But when we go out shopping, I actually do make her spend her own money. And it is money rather than having it on a card. So when we go out to the shops, then she's got a budget, I've got a budget, and she knows that she has to stick to it. We've been doing it for a while with her. Obviously she's 7 now. She understands the value of money more than, let's say, when she was 3 or 4. But yeah, she knows that you can't just want things and then things just appear. So when we go out to the shop, she brings her little pocket money, and it is actually quite sweet when we go shopping and she looks at the price and she says, oh, mommy, it's just way too expensive. Or there were things and she said, oh, I'm not going to buy it, or I haven't got enough money. And I said, well, you just have to carry on saving. So yeah, I think it's important to discuss it with your family and keep it transparent. And also, obviously, the majority of bills would be, in our case, would be direct debit. But the only budget that we can kind of control, obviously, when we shop around with electricity, gas, then and also broadband providers, I always make a note when our contract is up, and I always look for the best deal. I don't let it roll over, so I always make sure that we get the best deal. But when it comes to shopping is very hard to control. There's so much we can do ourselves because obviously prices are going up. So I tend to do a big, an online shop once a week, which is pretty good. That's for the heavier stuff. And I do top-up shops during the week, but I always have a budget. When I go out with Ella, then very often she just turns around and she says, Mommy, it's not on the list. So it's quite cute. And also when it comes to shopping, obviously look around and do price comparison, because just because it's a budget shop budget place to shop is not doesn't necessarily mean it's actually the cheapest. So make sure you do a bit of checking around, because just I think I learned it from my own experience, but I thought it must be cheapest than than in the other shops. It wasn't cheap, but then you have to obviously look at how much time it would take you to go to the other shop, because your time is valuable. So if it takes you, unless obviously you don't mind traveling, if it takes you, let's say, another 45 minutes to get to the shop where maybe you can save like 5p, is it really worth your time? And the other one on the list, which is again important, never ever go shopping hungry, because that's when you kind of deviate from the plan, and then you end up spending, well, I end up spending a fortune on unhealthy stuff, really. And if you've been watching my channel, then you know that I'm a great believer of meal planning. Meal planning is not only convenient during the week, it saves a lot of time, but it also saves a lot of money. When you plan your meals a week ahead, then you don't have waste. Obviously it reduces food waste, and also it saves you money. So try to do meal planning. At the beginning I think it will be a bit of a chore, but then when you can get your family involved. And I think you should get your family involved and ask them what's their favorite food, and then just put a list together, and then just rotate it every week or every other week. And we do have this sheet on the fridge. I think if you've seen my home hacks video, then we've got a meal plan, and I put down what we're gonna have for the week. And also when it comes to goal setting, I think it's important to write it down. I do write down our yearly goals, and also goals that we want to achieve in the next few years. And as we go along, I actually tick it, and it's actually quite nice and quite reassuring that don't be harsh to yourself, but it's something I think it does help to focus. And also if you need to save up for something, then it's definitely, I think it's worth trying. Comes to shopping around, make sure that there would be other apps where you would be able to get cashback, or there would be like auto saving. I mean, none of this video is not sponsored, but we do use Plum. We've been using Plum for a long time now, quite a few years, because what it does, it actually calculates how much you can afford to put aside. So it's actually a clever little app, because if the app sees that you don't have too much money on your account, it wouldn't take you into minus. I think there is a setting though. I think if you will have to check this out yourself. And also it can save you a set amount every week as well. As I said, we've been using Plum, and I can't recommend it enough. But again, do your own research. And we don't tend to do, like, we hardly ever buy branded stuff. We tend to buy unbranded things. But again, just shop around, because very often they would have like buy one get one free on a better brand, and it may actually be cheaper, or could be a lot more expensive than the shop's own brand. But we don't have brand loyalty in this house. We just go with what we like. And like 99% of the time I would say that the own brand is as good as the well-known brand, if not better. And what I will also do is getting back into the topic of cooking, is we like making our own takeaways. For example, Chinese takeaway style, or Indian takeaway style, or even obviously burger and chips. I wouldn't call it takeaway, but yeah, just try to kind of improvise and make sure that you don't end up spending a lot on takeouts or takeaways, or so these are the little tips that I thought I would share with you when it comes to budgeting in our household. It's a little bit of a mixture. And so please let me know in the comment, what's your money saving tip and what works for you, really. It would be quite interesting to see how people budget and how they can everybody can achieve their dreams, really. So if you got value out of this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and have a lovely day, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.